We're looking forward to a very, very productive election day. We're looking forward to a very productive general election in November. Before we get started, I wanted to give a little acknowledgement to some of our elected officials that are right now in the community fighting to make our lives better. They're on the front lines of preserving democracy. As you can see, we have State Representative John Rosenthal. State Representative Penny Morales-Shaw. State Representative Ann Johnson. We have Madison County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth. And we have our very own school board trustee, Kathy Bluford Daniels. I know you all are pointing to the commissioner. I see him, trust me. But I did want to acknowledge officials. Now, also, I want to give acknowledgement to our judges that are in the crowd. So if you are a sitting judge right now, please stand up. I know we're in a primary, but they are still elected, and thank you for being on the front lines. Now, y'all don't want to hear from me. There's other people that are here that you want to hear from. But first and foremost, I want to introduce you to someone who has constantly, who is giving me sound advice, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you the very County Commissioner for Precinct 1, Commissioner Riley Ellis.
Thank you all. Let's give Otis a warm round of applause. He's doing a great job. It shows that when we give our young folks an opportunity, they really step up, and we're so proud of you. Just checking the weather. It's cold out there today. It's rainy today. It was a little rainy yesterday, but I got my early vote in. I hope I helped with the numbers when I did that on yesterday. I want you to know that it will be 68 degrees on Tuesday. It's been clear. It'll be a great day to get people out. We are glad. I want to welcome you here to the Nickel. By the way, you are in Hester House. It is not a county facility. It's a partnership with Precinct 1. Historic Hester House. Back before YMCAs and YWCAs were integrated, you had a settlement house. That's what Hester House is. And we're proud to help with it. Jeremy Brown, where are you, Jeremy? Jeremy Brown is the chair of the board. He's somewhere working, and he called on yesterday and said that at the last minute they needed to change where they were going to put it, and he had agreed here at Hester House. So we appreciate you being at the historic Hester House. As a lot at stake in this election. Obviously, it's a midterm election, and historically, the numbers are not what they ought to be. And unfortunately, because of the way lines have been drawn in Austin in particular, a lot of our seats don't have the enthusiasm that you would think they would have. In our districts, usually they're just not contested. And I was chatting with folks earlier today saying, we got to find some way that those of us, even when we're not on the ballot, or if we are on the ballot and we don't have a fight, we got to do our part to help get folks out, to make sure that it helps them with these statewide races. I, for one, am so glad that Beto O'Rourke decided to run for governor of Texas. We got somebody, a special guest, who's going to listen short. Give it my speech. Oh, this where are you? Did I say it? I can. Okay, so look, my role is to introduce the person who's going to come up and introduce our special guest today. I cannot think of a time when I've had a challenge in my life and she hadn't been there. Even sometimes when I didn't want to talk, she called and made me talk anyway. She is on the battlefield on every issue that comes up. Just got off of a plane. I keep up with a schedule because I got a family member of hers that works with me. But just got back from representing us abroad at a time when so many of my friends in Europe, in particular, are having to fight for their lives. So would you please stand and give a warm welcome back home to our Congresswoman, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
a good sight to see everybody. What a wonderful, wonderful sight to see you all. Statewide officials are here. Elected officials are here. I honor you. Each, I hope, has been introduced. Otis? All right, then I honor you again because we stand on your shoulders. We are a democratic republic. A lot of people said, oh, I thought you all were a country out here in Texas. Almost. Almost. But we are a democratic, loving people. And whenever anybody says the word democracy, and I don't let them call us Democrats, I jump up and down because I know that the people of America, the people of Texas, are taken care of when Democrats get elected. I know that's what happens. So it is certainly a privilege for me to take just a brief moment first to thank all of you for weathering the storm and recognizing that you got your lightweight, sensitive, soft, loving boxing gloves on, and you're not going to take any prisoners. We're going to win. We're going to win in November. Remember I said your soft, nice boxing gloves. But the real issue is we need a person to carry the banner whose heart we know, whose mind we know, love and caring for change and for making a difference, we understand. We are trying to be polite right now. We will not call the opposition's name, Lee. But, Carla, we will make sure that everyone knows the dastardly behavior that has taken people away from the seat of empowerment, that's given them no options, it's shut them down in their school districts. It's told parents how to take care of their transgender children. It is, in fact, given up on health care for all Texans. And they don't have a good memory to remember how many lives we lost in that freeze in 2021. So we want to be able to have a person who I've seen in the United States Congress, remember, a working man, first in El Paso, then taking his very strong, benevolent leadership to the United States Congress, being a change agent on every committee he served on. It's good to have someone that has a holistic experience, one of the world and the nation, and then of the state of Texas. And then I saw him as he made a valiant effort to move us in a positive decision and direction, moving in the Senate race as presidential candidate. There's nothing wrong with a person who really wants to serve and wants to serve you. Public service is a great honor. And so, Democrats, I just want to leave you with this as we bring forward our next governor of the state of Texas. Whenever you hear the word Texas and Democrats, the Democratic Party, you have people in the background with the word no. I want you, having been told by Commissioner Ellis that it's going to be some warm weather on Tuesday, the 1st of March, to eliminate the word no from your vocabulary, to let people know that you're winners and there are no no's in your vocabulary. Your word is to switch those letters to on. I've got a good message. On. Then put the word carry in front of it. They're going to see Democrats carrying on. They're going to carry on March 1st and build a dynamic Democratic ticket. And then they're going to carry on in this election and go all the way to November. They're going to carry on and they're going to bring Beto as the next governor of the state. Carry on.
Let's hear it from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Carry on. Carry on. I love that. I've had the chance to hear the Congresswoman too many times to count. And I just told her that was one of the best. That got me more fired up than I've ever been listening to her. Because the other thing that she said, as I had the chance to greet her as she pulled up, she came in and said, there is no room in our hearts for despair. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially that's what I heard from you right now. And I love that because literally the sky out there is dark right now. And we know that this is the toughest of times for so many of our fellow Texans. We have the most cruel and incompetent and corrupt governor this state has ever seen. And his cruelty and incompetence and corruption knows no bounds. In this state, rich with energy resources, he failed to keep the lights on, or the heat running, or the water flowing in our pipes. We lost the lives of hundreds of our fellow Texans, and now every single one of us is paying this Abbott tax of $40 to $60 more per month on our utility bills to pay for the theft that we witnessed last year when gas company CEOs and energy traders stole $11 billion from the people of Texas. And instead of prosecuting them, he protected them and us to foot the bill. This latest action against transgender kids in this state, with all of the problems that we have in the state of Texas right now, like making sure that kids can read at grade level or graduate from high school, or that we pay teachers a living wage so they don't have to work a second or a third job. This is the stuff that he wants to focus on. And the idea that in the year of our Lord, 2022, you would prevent any woman from making her own decisions about her own body, her own future, her own health care, and then ask people to go collect a $10,000 bounty on any woman in making her own decisions. It was unimaginable for us 10 years ago, 5 years ago, really even last year before it became the reality here. And you even saw it in the eyes of the governor when he was signing that anti-abortion bill into law. The reporter says, Governor, you realize that there's no exception for rape or incest. What are you going to do about that? And like the dog who finally caught the car, he looks back into the camera and he says, we are going to eliminate rape in the state of Texas. Oh, yeah. That's who we're dealing with now in the highest position of power and public trust in the state of Texas. You do not have to be a Democrat, although I'm glad to be with you right now. But you don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. You just have to have some common sense to know that we can do far better than the person that we have right now. And the best antidote to that despair that the Congresswoman has warned us against is action. Because as Commissioner Ellis was sharing with me earlier, no one is riding to our rescue. We would love the Attorney General of the United States of America to come in right now and to confront these anti-voter election laws that have functionally disenfranchised so many millions of our fellow Texans. But I see no evidence that he's riding to the rescue right now. I would love the United States Supreme Court to stand up for the precedent set 49 years ago, that every woman should be able to make her own decisions about her own body and her own future, but clearly they will not do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is on us. But I like our odds, and I feel really good about our chances. Because when you look at the people here, when the Republican majority in the legislature and our current government were trying to steal the elections in the state and rig the rules of the road before the first ballots were cast, these brave men and women behind me of the state legislature did not take it sitting down. They literally walked out of the Capitol, went to Washington, D.C., did everything that they possibly could to postpone so many voters in that moment, and they did it for us at great personal expense to themselves. You all are our heroes. And that is the fight that all of us need right now. It is the inspiration and the example for this state. That's all of us today. Listen, 7 million of our fellow Texans in the 2020 election were eligible to vote, Millions of them were actually registered to vote, and not a single one of them cast a ballot. 7 million. Now, some are working 2 and 3 jobs and maybe can't find the time to wait in line for 6 hours outside of TSU because this current governor and legislature have closed so many polling places. Some, in the most deadly pandemic of our lives that has claimed 80,000 Texans, didn't want to go in person and had a governor who reduced the number of drop-off boxes in this county to one for a county that has more people than the entire state of Nevada. But there were some people who didn't vote because no one stopped and asked them to. No one knocked on their door, no one made a phone call, no one texted them, no one reached out to them, even on social media. 7 million people. We lost the 2018 statewide race by 216,000 votes. There are 7 million voters out there, ours for the taking if we're willing to do the work. I'm asking you to join me and the congressman, the commission, the state representatives, the judges, and the other candidates who are here today by stepping up and standing up to be counted and getting out there and meeting those voters. If we knock on their doors, if we meet them where they are, if we, from our own hearts and in our own words, share with them why this is the most important election of our lives, the great things that we want to do once they're in the majority and we are in power, like making sure that the best jobs in America are created right here in the state of Texas, that we have a world-class system of public education, that we expand Medicaid so more people can see a doctor and fewer are dying of diabetes in this community, in this state, in this year, in the most powerful, wealthiest country the world has ever known. These are the things that we want to do. They're not polarizing, they're not on the extreme, they're not on the fringe. They are common to our values, not just as Democrats, but as Texans. If you will join us in this, I guarantee you, I will serve you as the next governor of the great state of Texas. We will have the chance to get Texas on the way to so grateful to each and every one of you, to Otis for bringing us together, and to everyone who's going to make this victory possible. Gracias. Y adelante.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much, Beto O'Rourke, for being here. Oh, you can do better than that. Thank you, Beto O'Rourke, for being here. We will have our photo line start right there behind Adonica. She'll have her hands up, and you can line up and take a photo with Beto. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Sorry about that. I had a live stream.